Most babies are not hurt most deeply by the big moments adults worry about. It's often the tiny ruptures, the small shifts in tone, attention, or presence that their bodies feel before anyone says a word. If you want parenting insight that helps you read what babies mean before they have words, subscribe to Baby Cues Decoded. Babies do not need language to feel when connection slips. Responsive, attentive, back and forth interaction helps build emotional security, and warm responses, eye contact, touch, and reassurance help babies feel secure in the relationship. And to be clear, this video is not saying one tired evening breaks attachment. A rupture is not the same thing as failure. What matters is that babies feel small breaks in connection more than adults realize, and repeated repair is part of healthy attachment, not proof that something went wrong. Harvard's Center on the Developing Child says repeated responsive interactions shape brain architecture, and 0 to 3 describes co-regulation and responsive caregiving as part of how babies learn safety, calm, and trust in relationships. What babies carry forward is not always a scene. Often, it is the feeling a seam kept teaching. Tiny Rupture 1. When your face and voice change in a hard moment. Sometimes the first rupture a baby feels is not what happened. It is the state that met them when it happened. That is why these moments can feel so much bigger to a baby than they do to the adult living through them. Your baby starts crying. Your jaw tightens. Your hands move faster. Your voice gets sharper without you meaning it to. The body that comes toward them is trying to help, but it is also carrying urgency, irritation, or emotional flooding into the moment. And babies often feel that shift before they understand anything else. 0 to 3 defines co-regulation as what adults do with babies and toddlers to help them feel safe, calm, and understood, precisely because self-regulation is still developing. Harvard's Serve and Return guidance supports the broader point that responsive interactions help shape emotional well-being and development, and UNICEF emphasizes that loving, calm responses help babies feel at ease and secure. So this is not about never feeling stressed. No parent can do that. It is about recognizing how much babies borrow regulation from the adult in front of them. When distress meets a softer face, a lower voice, slower hands, and a body that feels less alarmed, the entire emotional meaning of the moment changes. Because in the earliest years, babies are not only receiving the action, they are also receiving the state inside the action. Tiny Rupture 2. When you are there physically, but not really there emotionally. A baby can feel the difference between being held by your body and being met by your attention. That is what makes this rupture so modern, so ordinary, and so easy to overlook. You are feeding the baby, but your eyes are on your phone. You are rocking them, but your face is flat and your mind is somewhere else. You are in the room, doing the right task, technically present, but the moment still feels emotionally thin. NHS guidance emphasizes eye contact, talking, singing, and warm responses as part of building a close relationship and healthy brain connections. Harvard's Serve and Return framework supports the same deeper truth. Focused, responsive, back and forth interaction helps shape emotional security, communication, and social development. This does not mean one glance at your phone damages trust. That is not the claim. The issue is repeated emotional absence inside moments that are supposed to feel relational. Babies often keep signaling because they are not only asking for proximity, they are asking for connection. They may be in your arms and still searching for you. That is why this matters so much. Babies can feel the difference between being near you and actually having you. And when that difference repeats often enough, the relationship can begin to feel harder to relax inside, even when care is still happening on the surface. Tiny Rupture 3. When their softer cues keep getting missed. Some babies do not start loud. They get louder when the quieter version of the message keeps failing to land. That is what makes this rupture so invisible in everyday life. Adults often think the problem begins when the crying becomes intense, but for many babies it started earlier, in the look away, the reaching, the sudden body tension, the little fuss, the change in tone, the strange quietness that came before the full distress. Harvard's Serve and Return framework explains that babies serve through gestures, sounds, cries, and other cues, and healthy development is supported when adults return with attention, words, touch, or comfort. UNICEF makes the emotional meaning just as clear. When you notice a child's needs and respond lovingly, it helps them feel secure and at ease. That is why missed cues matter so much. This is not about perfect attunement. No parent catches everything. But when the softer version keeps being missed, the baby may escalate not because they are dramatic, but because the quieter version did not work. What adults sometimes read as overreactive can actually be a message that had to come back with more force to survive being overlooked. Harvard notes that repeated responsive exchanges help build the neural connections involved in communication and social skills, which is one reason early responsiveness feels so regulating to infants. This is one of the most common tiny ruptures in ordinary parenting. Not cruelty, not neglect, just the repeated experience of feeling harder to find than the baby expected. And over time, that can make the relationship feel a little less readable, a little less predictable, and a little harder to trust. Tiny Rupture 4. When comfort feels irritated or emotionally expensive. Your baby is learning not only whether comfort comes, but what their need seems to cost the room. That is what makes this one so deep. A baby may still get picked up, still get fed, still get soothed, and still feel a quiet rupture if the whole moment is wrapped in sighing, irritation, resentment, or the emotional feeling of again. UNICEF explicitly says babies cannot be spoiled by too much love or attention, and that responding to their cues for feeding and comfort helps them feel secure. Healthy Children says the same thing in practical language. It is a myth that babies are spoiled by loving attention, and babies learn security and trust when caregivers respond to them warmly and reliably. Babies do not read parenting philosophy. They read atmosphere. They feel whether the arms lifting them are tense, whether the soothing voice sounds exasperated, whether the reassurance feels glad to receive them or emotionally burdened by them. That is why comfort can technically happen and still be hard to fully rest inside. NHS guidance emphasizes that touch, rocking, feeding, cuddling, comforting, talking, and eye contact help babies build close relationships and healthy brain connections. Responding to distress builds trust. Making need feel costly builds tension. That is the emotional truth underneath this entire pattern. The baby is not only learning comfort comes, they are also learning whether their need for comfort makes closeness feel safer or heavier. Tiny Rupture 5. When rupture happens and nobody comes back to reconnect. Babies do not need flawless attunement. They need relationships that know how to come back after the miss. This is where the whole video becomes more hopeful, because the deepest rupture is usually not that a hard moment happened. It is that the relationship does not know how to return afterward. You missed the cue. You got distracted. You used the wrong tone. You moved too fast. That part is human. 0 to 3 notes that rupture and repair are real parts of attachment, and that misreading or missing a young child's needs can rupture trust. The point is not that rupture never happens. The point is whether anyone comes back with responsiveness, steadiness, and reconnection. When no one returns emotionally, disconnection can harden. The baby is left not only with the stress of the moment, but with the feeling that the relationship itself became less available and then stayed that way. But when the adult softens, re-engages, and brings warmth back to the interaction, the baby learns something enormously protective. Connection can strain and still survive. Harvard's broader relationship science says healthy brain architecture depends on stable, interactive relationships with caring adults, and that inconsistent or absent responses can disrupt that foundation. That is why repair is not a side note. It is one of the strongest foundations of secure attachment. A baby who repeatedly experiences return after the miss is learning that love is not fragile, and that moments of strain do not have to become permanent emotional distance. So a baby who feels safe with you is not a baby whose parent never gets stressed, distracted, tired, or emotionally late. It is a baby who lives inside enough repeated experiences of warmth, responsiveness, calm, welcome, and repair that the relationship still feels like somewhere they can rest. Across Harvard, UNICEF, 0 to 3, Healthy Children, and the NHS, the broader message is remarkably consistent. Repeated, responsive, loving interactions help children feel secure and support healthy emotional, social, and brain development over time. So this is not about avoiding all 5 perfectly. It is about noticing the patterns. Tiny ruptures matter, but so does tiny repair. And over time, that may be one of the deepest ways love becomes safe enough to trust. Your baby does not need perfection to feel safe with you. They need enough repeated moments that keep teaching the same truth. You make sense, and you come back.